Okay, so just for information, I'm making
Yes.
a gin martini with Boodles gin.
Oodles of boodles, I hope?
Oodles of Boodles.
Because actually, the last drink I had was probably 2 years ago.
Oh, shit. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm not...
No, this is fine.
Okay.
I need to loosen up.
Okay. How do we tie this drink into this podcast?
I need a drink because I'm anxious. Because I'm on a podcast.
But how do we tie it into MS? If that is even...
I don't think that there is really any connection about alcohol and MS. Like...
They put the martinis. We put the MS in martinis.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to Friends with Deficits. I'm your host, Adam Sultan, and we're all gonna die. But that comes later. For now, you can listen to my conversation with my friend, Diane Hardin. Diane has multiple sclerosis and a martini, and she'll tell you the rest of the story herself. We'll talk about scars, spinal taps, makeup, mothers, and IQ tests. But first, how MS has changed Diane Hardin's life.
Friends with Deficits.
It's changed my life because I no longer make a shitload of money. I can no longer do the job I loved doing.
In makeup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did I make a living doing makeup? Do you remember?
No, you can tell me right now.
I will. 10 years. You know how it ended. I'll tell you how it ended. In 2006, I was working, it was South by Southwest, and Roseanne Cash was going to play something. I can't even remember the venue, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I had to put false lashes on her. She liked single or cluster false lashes. You know how that is, right? And you put them on with tweezers, you dip them in glue. My hand was shaking so bad. And the other makeup artist, who was supposed to be super experienced, didn't know how to put on lashes. And I knew how, but my hand was like this. And you use really pointy tweezers with like a serious point. I got them on her, but afterwards I thought I could have blinded her.
Damn, that bad.
Yeah.
Was it out of the blue?
No. It had been getting worse and worse. Like if I had to do lip liner on someone, I had to hold my hand, and sometimes I just had to hand something to people and go, do your eyeliner.
Here, I'm your makeup artist. Here's a makeup kit.
I could do like foundation. I'm, really good at matching foundation. I was really talented, but when it came to drawing fine lines and stuff and like trying not to injure, when I felt like I might injure someone on accident, that's when I would ask them. And very rarely did I do that. I was starting to do FX makeup. I have a friend who owns a very successful special effects makeup house here in town. I'm the person who convinced her to quit her coffee shop job and do makeup full time and gave her first like high paying makeup job. I hired her for it because I was hired as the head makeup artist. We were in San Antonio working on an Air Force film called Air Force Sexual Assault, which was not a porn. Yeah. It was basically about how to be a sexual asshole in the Air Force.
Is it a documentary or is it
Yeah, no, it's a training film.
A training film.
For the Air Force, but it wasn't really about like how to report it, or it was just more like a tale of woe. This guy was a jerk and assaulted some people, and then he gets demoted and to a really crappy Air Force job, but it's not like he got kicked out of the Air Force. So weird. But we did a great job. And she did an amazing job. And eventually now she's just worked and worked. When I quit doing makeup, I referred all my work to her. But she and I would have gone into business together, I think. We were developing products together. And because I have a degree in physics and organic chemistry, I was helping, formulate. But that ended. But I have a much calmer life now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, when things like that happen, everybody has a choice about their life, no matter what you have, to focus on the positive or the negative. Every single person. I mean, you read about people who win the lottery and most of them end up unhappy, literally. I think everybody, change is change, and it's stressful for everybody, whether it's a positive change or a negative change. Buying a house is a form of stress. Getting married is a form of stress. Getting a great new job is a form of stress. Getting MS is a form of stress. Going on disability is a form of stress. Be happy or not. My final diagnosis came in 2005. It takes a long time sometimes to diagnose MS. I woke up one day. I had a doctor's appointment that day because I'd been having, I don't even remember what issues. And my right leg wouldn't work, for like 3 hours. It finally started working enough for me to like hobble to the car, but I got up out of bed and just like fell. That's happened to me several times. I've sprained my ankle doing it and given myself a black eye. It's no fun.
Man.
That was one thing. Another thing was, I've lived in Austin since I was 6 years old. I know how to get places, but I couldn't figure out where I was when I started driving. And it wasn't far. I lived in Travis Heights at Algarita and Travis Heights Boulevard, and my doctor was on 38th and Guadalupe, so it wasn't like a long drive, but I'm in my car driving there, and it's like, I couldn't figure out if I was going north or south, east or west, where he was. I finally got there. I could not, I still can't read maps. That happened overnight too.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can't read it, like if you're looking at a map, you can see.
I just blank.
Wow.
I have problem with 3D spatial things. That part of my brain is a scar. A lot of part of my brain has scars. That's what multiple sclerosis means. It's scars on the myelin sheathing, on the nerve endings. So it stops information from traveling through your brain. And I have relapsing remitting, which means I'll have a problem, and then oftentimes, most of the time, fortunately, it sorts itself out. That just means my brain rewires, because we all have a lot of brain tissue we don't use. But God, I think I'm using all mine up.
Jeez.
And no, I'm not. Sometimes, though, it does not rewire. You can't. You try. I've tried to relearn how to read maps. I can do it to an extent, but I have to use turn-by-turn directions. Unfortunately, technology is ahead of where my brain is falling apart. I did get to the doctor. I also was having a problem with my gastrointestinal tract, where I actually looked 5 months pregnant. Digestion stopped. This is what it seemed. I didn't know. He listened to my digestive tract, and he said it was paralyzed. There was nothing going on. It's supposed to make sounds. Mine was silent.
Paralyzed sounds like a death sentence right there. If you're
no, there's a way to fix it.
Okay.
You know how you have to prep for a colonoscopy?
I do. Now that I'm at that age, I know exactly how to prep for that.
I've had to do that over 25 times since I've gotten MS.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So fun.
It is the worst.
Yeah. By the end, you're bleeding. Anyway, whatever. But it works.
Yeah.
I went and had an MRI.
Yeah.
And they were just like, oh my fucking God. I had this thing. This sounds so gross. There's a term for it, but the term does not mean what it sounds like.
I can't
Can't
wait for this. Yeah.
Fecal vomiting.
Wow.
That sounds bad, right? That sounds like you're throwing up poop. But what it means is that you're full of shit and you're also full of food. So it's basically like Mr. Creosote in Monty Python, The Meaning of Life, where he can't eat the wafer thin mint.
Oh, right.
I couldn't. If I ate the wafer thin mint, I threw it up immediately. Not my poop.
Yeah,
just
gotcha.
the wafer thin mint.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make it sound better?
As long as it didn't end up like the Monty Python skit, because that's a little too much.
I did. Can't you tell?
Yeah, but you didn't burst open.
No, I did.
Oh, cool.
They put them back together.
Oh, that's sweet.
Okay, so I had a friend who lived about 5 blocks from my doctor's office. So I went there because I knew it was a bad idea to drive home. And that's why I don't drive anymore. Mm-hmm. Because nobody took away my license. But also I have like a couple of temporal lobe, which is kind of rare for MS, but it can be anywhere. And if you get a temporal lobe lesion, it can create fake epilepsy and you can have seizures. So I had some seizures too. So they were trying to diagnose me with epilepsy at first. It was very confusing. Like, what the fuck does she have?
Did you have any idea?
No, because MS is really weird. It can affect any of those nerve endings in your entire brain and spinal cord. So it looks like a lot of different things. They thought I had something pernicious anemia. That's what it's called. And I didn't have that. I got tested for everything. MS doesn't show up in blood results. It only shows up in spinal taps. And only it shows up like 90% of the time, but there's like 10% of cases where you don't have broken protein bonds in your spinal cord. But those people still have MS. No one really knows what MS is. There are, I think, currently 4 different categories of it, and no one even really knows if it's the same disease.
Really?
Like relapsing, remitting, primary progressive, secondary progressive, they don't really know. But like the people who end up in wheelchairs really fast and wither away and die, they usually have first and secondary progressive.
You remember when I told you that I saw some, amazing story of some woman who ate nothing but pounds of organic green vegetables and all, and changed and was in a wheelchair with MS and basically 100% recovered.
Sure.
And you said, I think that it wasn't the same at MS.
Well, now I might have a slightly different opinion, though I still think it's really bad science, to be honest. But there are some people who believe that a lot of autoimmune diseases, including MS, are caused by something called leaky gut syndrome. I have given the leaky gut diet a try, and it's not bad. I mean, it did help my digestion.
What is the leaky gut diet?
There's just a list of things you can't eat, like beans. Okay. It's not unlike paleo in a way, which actually I ate paleo for a long time too, and it was great. It really helped, but it's expensive to buy all that meat. I kind of got tired of eating it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I just eat what I want.
And that's okay?
Yeah, no. I don't know. Probably not the ideal thing.
But you've improved over the last 4 years, right?
Yes. So I'm on a new anti-lesion causing medication. What I used to be on when it first started is a form of interferon. Interferon is what your body produces when you have the flu. It's basically a form of chemo, but mild, really mild chemo. Because I have an autoimmune disorder, disabling my immune system is the way to go, rather than boosting it. My immune system is the thing that's attacking the nerve endings. It sees them as foreign bodies. So if I take shit, if I went to an herbalist, a fucking idiot, sorry.
Guess you've been to one.
No, I just know them. And they tell you, you need to take astragalus, you need to take this, echinacea, boost your immune system. If I do that, it will fucking make me so much worse. Because my immune system is the thing that's trying to kill me, not on purpose.
So does that mean you're just making yourself more susceptible to illness, or are you actually...
It means I'm actively participating in increasing my illness. My immune system is the problem.
So MS would be considered an autoimmune deficiency. Okay.
Finger gun.
Okay. Pew, pew. But then...
So smart, Adam.
Wow. I just repeated what you said.
Yeah, I know.
It just took me a minute.
Active listener.
That's good, huh? Uh-huh. Date material. But anyway, oh shit, now it's getting hot in here. But...
It is.
So you're attacking that.
It's a conversation. It's so hot.
But you're attack...
Yeah. Interferon is what your body produces when you have the flu.
Okay.
It suppresses your immune system and you feel like shit.
Does that mean you've been feeling that way for a long time?
When I took that every time
Okay.
Every single time I woke up with a headache and a sore body.
What about now? You've changed your
Well,
medication?
no, I was a non-compliant patient and stopped taking it because it makes me sick, which is lame.
Did you tell them, or is that part of the
Yes, of course I told
Okay.
them. And they would try new things. There's something called Copaxone, but there are a few people who can't take it, and I was one of them. If the first or second time you take it, it makes you feel like you're having a heart attack, you can't take it. I was one of those people.
Eesh.
Yeah, that was fun. It's not a good feeling. I don't know. I can't describe it either.
I don't want it.
Yeah. Anyway, there's much better new meds now, a lot of them that don't make you so sick or don't even really make you feel anything at all. And so I'm on a new one that begins with a G, and I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, because my short-term memory is...
George?
Yeah, George.
The name.
Gerard Kozloy.
Is it doing the same function as like suppressing your immune system, or is it?
Yeah, it's a lot more complicated than that. It's not as simplistic as interferon, which was, honestly, I should have appreciated it more, because lesions in my brain are worse than feeling a little crappy a few nights a week, but I was a pussy. And I still am, but they have better meds now that don't make me sick. Yeah, I don't really understand how it works, but it helps keep lesions from forming.
Okay.
And it doesn't make me... The reason I feel better is because I don't feel sick all the time. I went back to being a compliant patient because I'm an old woman, and I realized, I got new lesions. They're called exacerbations, and I mean, that's not fun. I lost 30 IQ points.
Really?
Yeah. Overnight.
I haven't noticed this.
Well, that's because I had a lot of points.
That's true.
I did. But the 30 is a lot to lose.
Wow.
Yeah, I lost that in 2006. And MS can cause any symptom. Any symptom, because it's your brain and your spinal cord. It's your nerves. There are only a few typical symptoms.
What are they?
Foot drop is one of them, where you can't flex your foot back up. You can have problems if lesions form on your optic nerves, which causes pain in your eyes and black spots in your vision. I lost a little bit of peripheral vision in one eye because of a lesion on an optic nerve. Seizures are an atypical symptom. Most people with MS don't have seizures, but if you have temporal lobe activity, then it can cause personality changes if it goes in your frontal lobe. I've had one. Anger. It
Showed up, or you got rid of it?
Both. The very first symptom was I could not feel anger for a good couple of months. And I mean, honestly, it was kind of great. I was married at the time to someone who wasn't my favorite human being, turns out. And to not feel any anger was such a relief. But the problem is, if you don't feel any anger ever, like in your life for a long time, people start taking advantage of you. Like if you think of people who are sort of simple or just don't feel anger, people shit on them. That may or may not have happened. Anyway. But after that, instead of just being able to start feeling anger again, I was really angry, out of control angry,
Wow.
rages would happen. Fortunately, that got under control.
And do you think that's directly attributed to MS, or could
I
it have
feel
been
it is, but
hormonal
how would
or
I
something?
know for sure?
Yeah.
It's not like maps of the brain are great, but they're not 100%. My neurologist is able to look at a lesion on an MRI and say, I think that's causing this, or that probably is, or no, this one is too far from that area. It's not doing that.
Do you have to get regular MRIs?
Every 6 months.
Wow.
And I'm claustrophobic.
Hi again. Still alive? Awesome. I wanted to talk to you about how you can help this podcast stay alive by becoming a supporter at patreon.com/friendswithdeficits. For $1 a month or more, you can help us find the time, the people, the resources to continue with these episodes and with the conversations, the community, the fun. You'll also get rewards like exclusive access to the Patreon feed where you get more than I bargained for. So please visit patreon.com/friendswithdeficits and have a nice day. Now here's a little guitar riff to send you off. Wait, hold on. I got this. Hang on. Okay, hang on.
Patreon, helping artists be artists.
Slogan not endorsed by Patreon, nor is this commercial.
But you've been diagnosed for 10 years?
Since 2005, so that's 12.
Okay.
I
And
can still do math.
that's good.
No maths, just math. It bothered me to lose 30 IQ points, to be honest. It really did. And I mean, it's not, like I said, it's in spatial relationships mostly. So I know exactly what I lost, and that's kind of annoying. But the 30 points were the spatial relationship. I'm pointing to a table because
It has, I see.
It has
table here
space.
has space.
It's 3D.
It's three-dimensional.
But anyway,
man.
it bothered me more that it dropped 30 points. And isn't that stupid? I mean, honestly.
Yes, losing 30 points is stupid.
Good job. No, you talk slowly to people like me. You know, when I'm really mad at people, I talk to them like they're children.
Oof.
Oh, it's fun. Adam, that's not what I wanted to hear. When you use your angry voice, just say what you have to say, but use a normal tone. It's really patronizing, isn't it?
Yeah, that would drive me insane.
Well, that's why I do it.
Oh, well, good.
See, those are the anger thing. That's something I got with MS, right? So I'm smart enough to know how to really piss people off. And if I get out of control angry, this is not something I'm proud of. I'll go for their weakness because I know everybody. I can figure out your weakness. I can figure out most people if I know them well enough, or even a little bit because they're humans. And I'll go for the thing that they're most insecure about. And
So MS just encourages your evil nature.
It makes me feel bad. I am very, very, very capable of making people cry, and I've done it.
You attribute that to MS?
Yes.
Really?
It's a rage thing. I've never done it before. I've never wanted to hurt anybody that much.
Because I would identify you as pretty damn snarky.
Well, I've always been snarky, but snarky versus making people cry are two different things.
But if people don't acknowledge that, like I know your sense of humor, but even so, it's like, you can jab for a while and it's like...
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that's good-natured. Well, maybe you tell me because you've experienced this. Maybe have I ever been mean to you?
Probably not. Yeah.
Right. But if you made me mad, I would be. And I would really regret it like 2 seconds later. That's the other thing. I still can't stay angry. You could do something horrible. Kill my parents again. Like you did before. No. Sorry. No, okay, if they were alive, kill my parents. Seriously, and I'd be really mad. Obviously. But I can't stay mad for more than like 24 or 48 hours. I've always been snarky, sure, but I don't think I've been cruel.
And that's a new thing?
Since MS, since the lesion in my frontal lobe, which is visible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do the lesions grow or you just get more of them?
No, they're just scars. Scars don't grow.
Right.
Yes, so not only do I have, so I have degenerative discs, bulging discs and shit in my back, and that alone qualified me for disability, which was really surprising. They didn't even look at my MRIs, which, whatever, I got it. I needed it.
Yeah.
I also have a couple lesions in my back that cause pain, so pain sucks.
Yeah.
But, there's help.
What's the prognosis now? You just kind of going...
Oh, it's not, okay. Relapsing, remitting, there is no death sentence prognosis. There's no prognosis. It's not predictable. They just give you the best medication that works the best for you that they possibly can, and the goal is to get as few lesions as possible, and you just live, and you're expected to live a full life. So a person can start out with the kind that I have. Actually, you can have lesions in your brain too that you don't even know about. I had like 5 before I was diagnosed, and some of them were really old. I have no idea how they can tell the age. It's like, is it a tree counting rings? Cut it open. Yeah. Well, it's an MRI, so it's sort of a cut. But I have no idea how they can tell how old they are. I've never figured that out.
What else would cause it?
I don't know. Mine are MS, so I don't really know.
Okay, it's all MS related for you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess somebody could hit me on the head with a baseball bat, and that might cause a problem. Yeah. But no, mine are all from MS. I guess that's assumed because I have MS. They found, they're called oligoclonal bands in my spinal fluid. I had to have 2 spinal taps before they found it. Ooh, I have to tell you, you haven't ever had a spinal tap?
No, I haven't. I've seen the movie, though.
Just like it. Cool. Exactly the same. It's really funny. Yeah. Yeah. No. They're okay. You just have to stay really still. I mean, there's a couple different ways. One of them, I was laying flat on my back, and they did it. And the other one, they had me curled up on my side. Either way, they just go in, between vertebrae and take out spinal fluid. It's a needle stick, and it feels really weird because it's touching like nerves. But it's not painful.
Anesthetize it, right?
No. For a spinal tap?
Well, locally, how do they keep you from? You just feel
You just fucking don't move because you don't want to get paralyzed.
But your needle is like punching into your nerve.
I'm going to tell you about something worse.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Okay. If you don't drink a shitload of water after a spinal tap for days and you start standing up too soon, you'll get a spinal tap headache, which is from a deficiency, because my neurologist always took twice as much fluid as, usually they take 10 cc's, but he'd like to take 20. If you don't have enough fluid, the pressure is wrong and you get a spinal tap headache that is like much worse than any other headache you've ever had in your life, and nothing makes it go away once you start getting it. I had to get what's called a blood patch.
A blood patch?
Yeah, it's called a blood patch. And no one told me what it was, and I thought it was just like, a patch that they would put on me that would affect my blood and fix, go into my blood and make me not hurt anymore in my head. This was so much worse than the spinal tap. They take blood out of your arm, and then you lay down on your back, and they're looking at you through a radioscope. And they take your blood and they inject it right outside the area where the spinal tap was. Because the thing is, if you get up too fast, also it hasn't healed properly and you can leak spinal fluid. So the idea is not only to close the hole with blood, but also to make it big enough, the piece of blood that they're putting into you, the chunk of blood, the bubble of blood, to put pressure on your spinal cord to fix the pressure problem, right? The headache is caused by a lack of pressure in your spinal fluid, so you make it smaller, you compress the spinal cord, and then the fluid goes back up. After they did it, I got up, and I felt like my leg might not work anymore because it was right in my lower back. But it did. It just felt weird, and that went away after a couple of days. But my head was fine, and they took my blood pressure, and it was like normal.
God.
It was fascinating at the same time. I guess I was laughing at it because it's like, oh, this is a blood patch. It's a blood patch. And it just seemed so primitive.
Yeah.
But it worked. Anyway, that was much, much, much worse than the spinal tap. Spinal tap is like a breeze.
It's like a movie.
Yeah, no, I didn't mind. I was fine with spinal tap.
Wow.
But the blood patch was memorable. It doesn't mean that you're always happy. There were plenty of times it was really, really hard. Like I didn't know what was going to happen like the next month. I would have to approach some situations and just have a lot of faith that things were going to work out, because basically things are going to work out until they don't. Everyone says the universe provides.
No.
No, things work out until they don't. Everybody dies. That's just how it is. So I guess I just tried to hope it would work out because I was happier hoping it would work out. Okay, I want to explain why I have this attitude, which I think is unusual or different. I think I'm really special. Yes. No, I just think it might be a little bit different than the way a lot of people might automatically think of things. I grew up with a mother who was disabled. My mother, from when she was 2, trained to be a serious career dancer. She started in tap and ballet at age 2. At age 15, she got polio. And she was already working in theater, and actually the only jobs she ever got paid for in her life were those. And then at 15, she got polio. One of the last cases, it was in 1950, right before Jonas Salk came out with the vaccine. She was in an iron lung for a month. Polio, when you get it, it generally paralyzes a good deal or all of your body. For her, it paralyzed her completely to the point where she couldn't breathe. Hence, she was in an iron lung. And then you regain some of it. She regained everything except her legs. She could move her pinky toes. She was first on, crutches and braces. Mm-hmm. I mean, gosh, I inherited those. They're made out of leather and metal and wood. They're really cool from the 50s when they actually, didn't make things out of plastic. And then eventually to a wheelchair. Yeah. So when I was born, she was in a wheelchair. But everything else worked. It was natural childbirth. So she had a lot more taken away from her, I feel. I don't know. She might say it was the same amount. I don't know, thinking back on my mom. But because we both had our careers taken away from us. But my mom chose to be a happy person. She never complained about being in a wheelchair. I think that's why I have the attitude I do. I'm also really glad that she died before I was diagnosed, because I think that would make her really sad. I think it's more tragic for parents to see their kids get something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, for me, it was just the way it was. People used to ask me what it was like to have a mother in a wheelchair, and it's like, I have no idea.
That's like my mother in alcoholism.
Yeah. How would you know?
Yeah.
How do you know? You don't know. It's just the way it is. And it's not like you think, oh my God, my life sucks because my mom is an alcoholic, or my life sucks because my mom can't drive me anywhere because she's in a wheelchair.
You don't have any perspective.
Right. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And you appreciate the good things about your mom, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even though my mom was a cripple, I still appreciate the good things about her.
Exactly.
My mom was the most awesome person.
You feel like your life right now, you feel content?
What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can tell.
It's funny because I wasn't sure. Like, I just thought you disappeared off into the wilderness and then you're just like holed up in a house, like
That's because
out.
We never look at each other's Facebook pages.
I know. Well, then I see your cooking stuff, So I figure, all right.
I gotta eat.
Yeah. So,
I wish this was a lot more coherent. I really do. But part of the reason it's not is because of MS. I have severe short-term memory issues. So...
All right.
Sorry.
Well, it sounds coherent to me, and it'll be edited too.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
What counts.
Yeah, it's going to be the best 5 minutes ever. So potent, just like...
Hi, my name is Diane.
And good night. All right, thanks again. All right, thanks to Diane Hardin for talking with me, and thank you for listening. Please subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher and rate and review us on iTunes if you haven't already, and let others know about Friends with Deficits. We also have a website, friendswithdeficitspodcast.com, so you can check that out, sign up for our newsletter, and don't forget about patreon.com/friendswithdeficits. Be well, boy, is what my dad used to tell me. Make of it what you will, and have a good life out there. I'm Adam Sultan. Until next time, ciao.